Riot podcast time.
Dun,
the
da, da,
line
da.
is out the door and around the building.
The podcast line?
Yeah, everybody is getting in on this, and we couldn't be more excited to give you exclusive backstage access to where the magic is happening. So
that makes it seem like this is an award show, and that's not true. But we talk about award show with Obi's tweet today.
We do.
In this podcast.
Actually, I didn't put it in the podcast.
Oh, you didn't?
Should I?
Well, yeah, now you have to.
No, I have to put it in the podcast. It's funny. That's probably the only thing I didn't. Let's see. We talk about that.
I assume you would have.
Yeah. The Mr. Rogers movie, the Radio U Refrigerator, which, again, if you do get that exclusive backstage tour, make sure you stop in and get a look.
When we talk about it, you'll know I just filled up.
Oh, is that where you've been for the last hour?
That was it. And you'll get that. More details upcoming in this podcast.
We also talk about Wolf Warrior 2, online personality types, free pizza, what's happening on Netflix in February, video game records, the state of the...
and more.
The State of the Union, sorry, and more. So I hope you guys enjoy this podcast, handcrafted for you.
Please don't forget to follow us to get more.
Who wouldn't want more?
If you want to go to Radio U Riot on Facebook, make sure to get notified. And then also on YouTube, if you go to our Radio U Riot YouTube channel, click on the bell so you get notified when we send out our interviews or our daily podcast that way too.
All right. Well, you guys enjoy the podcast. Have a fantastic...
Bye-bye.
Wait, what day is it?
Have fantastic Tuesday.
Dang it. All right. It's the Riot.
Baby's crying. Nails on a chalkboard. Your girlfriend saying, "We need to talk." The worst of the Riot. Yep, it really is that bad on Radio U.
So from what I can gather, I don't know about everybody that's listening right now, but if you're a friend of mine and you follow me on Twitter, the thing that you guys like more than anything is for me to talk about not caring about the Grammys.
Oh, is that the most popular?
Here's the tweet. Because I work in radio, I'm supposed to care about the Grammys. No, not even a little. Boom.
And that was your most liked tweet?
Most liked. I've had way higher retweets than this, but for whatever reason, everybody that went past that when they were like, heart.
Probably a lot of radio industry people.
Heart.
Who were like, yes, you know what? I feel like I'm in the same boat as you.
Yes, me, over here, me. But I guess my new thing, is going to have to be following this up. Like, what's going to be my follow-up tweet? What do I say? Like, day 2 of not liking the Grammys. Like means you agree. Retweet means you hate me, or I don't know, something
along
like
those
that.
lines.
Yeah. So we've got to build.
I don't know. I feel like now you're just trying to make it happen, and it might not have the same. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't.
Nikki, we've got to build on this Grammy momentum. Okay.
Well, you've got something.
Like right now, we're in the middle of establishing a brand.
Yes.
Okay. And in your brand, you got to have some consistency, and so you got to go where the lightning is striking. And I feel like my anti-Grammy thing. So how about this? 363 days till the Grammys, but I don't even care.
How about that until the Grammys? And I still don't care. Why don't we go with that?
Next year, 2019 Grammys, no one cares. I work in radio. I don't care.
You can follow up because they had the numbers from the Grammys, and it was down so much to where you were not the only person who didn't care.
Ratings down for Grammys. Looks like I'm not the only one who doesn't care.
See, there you go.
Boom.
That's it.
Nikki, we just established at least 3 or 4 days of content.
We're a writing team.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And then I think you start in on stuff like picking individual Grammys and then going after the artists.
Well, I think also you need to hit up some holidays. So like Valentine's Day, still checking in. Grammys, don't care. Something like you've got a lot of markers. Yeah, during the year.
Yeah, counting down to Valentine's Day. Obviously not counting down to the Grammys, which I hate.
Still don't know. You have to do the still don't care.
Still don't care?
Yeah.
You know what? Does anybody hear that sound? That's the Grammys sucking, but I don't even care. That one feels
that was like a little too forced. I feel like
gotta workshop it a little bit.
But I mean, we're on just the right road.
What's a Grammy? Don't even care. I don't know. Okay,
Groundhog's Day. That I think is your next one.
Okay,
you can do something today and then do something on Friday.
Yeah. Now I noticed that you're calling it Groundhog's Day.
Oh, do I?
Groundhog. Well, see.
Just get to it.
Like, is that an apostrophe S or is that just an S?
I don't know. I just
is
say
it one groundhog owning the day?
Groundhog Day.
is it multiple groundhogs having a day?
Well, there's more than one. I mean,
Yeah.
the Pennsylvania one is the main one.
Yeah, it's true. But you know what, the Grammys don't even care.
It's apparently not with Groundhog Day either.
Don't even care.
Don't even care.
I don't even care. So, no, I can't say I don't even care. It's don't even care. All right, we're well on our way to establishing something here.
If you were offended or disgusted by anything Obadiah said this morning,
If you weren't so dumb, I might be offended.
you must be new. You'll get used to it. The Riot on Radio U.
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood.
It's a beautiful day, Nikki.
Oh, do you hear that quality?
Well,
Well, it was an old show.
it looks like maybe it was dumped from a VHS onto YouTube.
Something like that.
So I don't have the best quality, but it is Mr. Rogers. And he is here to make you feel a little better, Nikki.
To have a neighbor.
You always wanted to have a neighbor just like you.
Just like me.
Just like you, Nikki. Would you want to be Mr. Rogers' neighbor?
Possibly. I don't know.
You're not so sure?
I don't like anybody with drama, good or bad, or just a lot going on.
I don't think he had drama.
Well, he just had a lot going on in the neighborhood.
Well, no, that's true.
So it seemed like people
He's always got people
say,
stopping
yeah,
by,
like, man, just
talking to people.
I don't like that.
All right, so you're saying
I
not
want
so
a
much.
quiet neighborhood.
What about the Land of Make-Believe?
You know, I don't actually remember most, if anything, about Mr. Rogers' neighborhood, so I can't track with that.
Now, I know I'm going to make people mad when I say this, but I do remember it, and I didn't like it.
Do they still run it somewhere? Or
Do they?
Hulu, probably. No offense, Hulu.
Oh, that hurts. It hurts a little bit. It
But
does.
that's just how it is.
Yeah, well, this one's for Derek. We take song requests, but it's not very often we get topic requests. But Derek wanted us to talk about the new Mr. Rogers biopic.
Yeah.
You Are My Friend, in which Tom Hanks will be playing Mr. Rogers.
I actually think that's a pretty good casting.
I think it's a great matchup right there.
Did you see that Josh posted on our Radio U Facebook page that yesterday? And was also asking, if you were casting
Who would you cast?
Radio U DJs, or who would you be casting if you could cast Mr. Rogers as well?
So which one of our DJs would you make Mr. Rogers?
No. Like, if you were making a Radio U DJ movie, who would you cast as the DJ? Or if you did not think Tom Hanks was great for Mr. Rogers, who would you cast instead?
And I didn't know he posted that yesterday. I would have gone and looked at some of the answers, but I don't know. Like, who do you want to play you?
I don't know. I'd have to think about it.
Well, you know what? How about we just go with Meryl Streep and Tom Hanks? They're in that movie, The Paper, or whatever.
True.
And
I wanna
it's
be
been
that.
nominated for an Academy Award.
Can't we be someone
They
younger?
may be a little old for these roles, but, they could play, you know what? They could
No,
play us as adults looking back on their career.
Sure. If not, I want us as our high school selves as we make our path towards being in radio.
I don't know.
Maybe like we start off at our current and then we look back.
Okay, that sounds good too. And so then we need like 3 or 4 different actors and
Versions
actresses
of
to
us,
play
yeah,
us
different
across
ages.
the time. Yeah, I think that would make a fantastic movie.
Like it goes back and you and I are back talking when we were kids. And they're like, we had no idea that was foreshadowing what's to come.
There's all these montage of my mom smacking me directly in the mouth. Smack, smack, smack,
Quiet
smack,
times.
smack.
See, I really see that. Some quick edits, some
Yeah.
very quick shots.
I think there's something to that. So the director is the same lady who directed Diary of a Teenage Girl, Marielle Heller. She says, I'm thrilled to be making You Are My Friend. The script knocked me out with its message of kindness
that's a lie.
and
Oh.
its exploration of the human spirit.
Well, that could be true.
As a mother, I'm so inspired by the teachings of Fred Rogers. That makes him sound, is he like on a mountain somewhere?
Guru?
I mean, I get it. And as a human, I'm in awe of his life's work. So there you have it. We will get Tom Hanks as Mr. Rogers. Afterwards, he will be playing both Obadiah and Nikki, both roles.
We feel like he could do a good. We also have budget concerns, so we really can afford.
Well, that's
one
why he's got to
name.
play both roles.
Yeah, if someone's willing to take that project on.
With the right camera angles and some good edits, it's going to be
Low
totally
lighting.
fine.
Sometimes a bad example is the best example. It's the worst of the Riot on Radio U.
If you ever get a tour of Radio U, you're going to get a lot of the, main stuff. Like, here's the studio. These were the buttons that we pushed to play the music. This is the computer that stores the music. This is the TV studio. Welcome upstairs where we have production studios. See, it's all studios. Studio tour, really.
Everything's a room for something.
And we'll take you to the green room where when artists and guests come in, they get a place to relax. And this is the couch that I sleep on when I spend the night. I mean, there are all these different things we can show you. But when you're here, I want you to remember this. This is a hot tip for the tour. Ask your tour guide to take you to the break room. And while you're there, ask them to show you Radio U's real claim to fame. Now, you may not know this, but Radio U does have the world record for the slowest distribution of water from a refrigerator.
Yay! Now it's faster because Chris changed out the air filter.
That's what he said.
It is still something to behold.
I was walking towards the break room and I saw Chris at the fridge and I was like, well, it takes 25 minutes to get water, so it's his turn now. I'm going to have to come back in an hour.
Have you tried it since yesterday?
I did. I have some water here.
Okay, it is faster.
Well, he said, he's like, hey, I think it's faster. And I was like, bro, I think you're just making that up.
No, it is, but it's still shockingly slow.
It's true. It is faster.
But the problem is, you're like, well, I can't use the faucet. I'm not all right with that. And there's a water fountain next to it, but this one doesn't get used a lot, so it has a different taste to it.
Uh-huh.
So you have to go upstairs for that water fountain.
You do. And that one kind of works, though I will tell you.
It stops every so often. I told Michael the other day I was finally ready to go get water from the water fountain, and it was after you came out of the bathroom, and then it just didn't work for like 10 minutes. I was like, he goes, yeah, it does that. It's like, well, what am I supposed to do? I'm thirsty. I would like some water, please.
I'm not going to say who, but I was upstairs the other day and I did get water out of the water fountain and they just looked at me and they were like, is that city water?
What are you doing? Which is why no one uses it. We're just stuck.
I've started using it because I don't have an hour and a half to go downstairs and stand in the break room while I get water out of the fridge.
What I've been trying to figure out is that my home fridge, you can just push it and it will stay there and the water will keep coming out. So I was trying to tip the cup in a certain way.
So you can walk away?
Yeah, so you could have it start filling up while you're making your food or using the microwave or something, but I can't get it.
No, it wants you to stand there. Just be
It's like
there.
the gas pump that doesn't have the little clip on the thing, so you can have it just automatically going.
Yeah. So next time you get a tour, make sure you ask because
for a cup of water.
Yeah, you're like, excuse me, can I go in and see? I want to get a cup of water, and it's like, oh, we're sorry, the building closes at 5 and it's 3. We don't have time for you to go in there. You have to ask for that at the very beginning of the tour.
We also used to have the slowest printer to where we thought if someone came into the building, had a gun to your head and said, if you don't print this, you're dead, you'd be dead because it wouldn't be fast enough.
They just
now that printer's gone.
Find you dead hours later, and then finally
what happened? Then you hear the printer kick in.
Well, he was trying to print something.
So now it seems like the get me a cup of water is right along the same lines.
Oh, man. Well, the good news is I've got a half a cup of water here.
I need to go fill up mine. And, I mean, House of Heroes is only so long.
Can we play 2 songs? Maybe.
Where did they go for 30 minutes? That's a water break.
Water. You know what? It might be easier for me to just walk over to the store and get a couple of bottles.
Actually sounds like a pretty good idea.
The Riot's future, 2 words. Goat Farm. Radio U.
I saw somebody Instagramming them eating Taco Bell fries yesterday. We should get some.
I thought we should have last Friday, but we forgot.
Well, I wouldn't say I forgot. I would just say I didn't remember.
He didn't want to run the risk of how his body would react to it over the weekend and ruin things.
If you want to know the truth, I remembered Friday afternoon. I went to Best Buy for something, and while I was there, I looked out and saw Taco Bell. I saw a sign for the French fries, and I thought, ooh, I'll go live on Facebook and eat these fries. And then I was like, I'll just go home now.
Just pass. Are they? They're open for breakfast, but do they sell the fries at breakfast?
I don't know.
Where we could eat them now?
We should find out. Chris was just here. Make him come back.
Yeah, Chris, I know you're busy and you're actually working. Will you go get us some fries, please?
Well, fries from Taco Bell. I mean, if it was just fries, that would be ridiculous. You're right, but shoot, I'll take some fries from Taco Bell. Hey, while we're over here working, the people on Sony's Venom movie, they're done, Nikki. They wrapped up yesterday. It was their last day of shooting.
So Venom is the Black Widow one?
No, Venom is
Venom?
he looks like Spider-Man, but it's the black Spider-Man suit, and he eats stuff like people and little dogs.
So that little dogs.
Yeah. Whatever.
Great.
Like stuff.
That should go well.
Yeah. And I mean, word is, I can't confirm this, but they may have celebrated wrapping up the Venom movie with a Taco Bell French fry party. Not sure if that's true or not. Then the other thing that happened yesterday in superhero news, they wrapped on Venom and they started shooting Shazam!
Yes!
No, I'm not kidding. They really
I know
did.
there's something called Shazam.
Yeah, so David Sandberg is directing that, and Andy Mack will star as Billy Batson. Zachary Levi is Shazam?
The one
Really?
guy?
Zachary, I mean, he's the guy
Isn't
from
he Chuck?
He's
No, wait. Zachary Levi. No, he was in, was he the guy in Tangled?
wait,
The Rapunzel, he was the voice guy.
he's the Chuck guy.
Yeah.
I get him and the Office guy mixed up.
Oh, sure. No, the Zachary Levi is in that, and then the Amazon Jack Ryan.
Yes.
John Krasinski.
That's the guy I get him mixed up with.
Yes, that's the other guy.
Okay. So he's going to be Shazam. And the big news was that The Rock was going to play Black Adam, which is like the Shazam bad guy. And he was like, well, yeah, in his own movie. He's not going to be in this movie.
Oh, he's not doing his own. Well, I mean, The Rock is on a different level.
I'll be honest. I'm interested in Venom. Shazam, I think, is stupid.
We'll see.
I think it's stupid.
We thought most of the things were stupid anyways. It just depends on how it turns out.
Well, you know what I don't think is stupid? French fries with a cheese dipping sauce.
So is Shazam really about
A
the
boy
story
that
who utters the magic word Shazam and he transforms into an adult superhero?
That's correct. It's a little boy that finds some magic beads or something, and then when he says Shazam,
Then he becomes that.
he becomes grown-up Shazam.
They say it'll be more of a lighthearted take on it. All right.
Yeah. Well, you know, Nikki, with all those dark superhero films out there, we feel like we need a kid running around.
Something, again, a little bit more friendlier.
Think about all the little things that he could get into. When he flies home and forgets he's still Shazam, and his mom walks in and is like, who are you?
So Shazam will be out April 5th of 2019.
Hey, right on. So tickets on sale now, right? Just kidding.
I mean, they are just starting to film. Might be a little early.
You don't have to apologize unless you've done something wrong.
Well, I'm sorry. I can't even think straight right now.
This is the worst of the riot. We're very, very sorry.
So you know what I've been thinking about watching? Has anybody ever seen Wolf Warrior 2?
Wait, I mean, just in case anybody want to text, yes.
No, seriously, text Wolf Warrior 2.
You don't text that. Just text us at 8772-RADIO-U, and you just say yes or no.
Tell us if you...
So what is that?
Well, here's the thing, Nikki. From its Wikipedia page, I will tell you. The film tells a story of a loose cannon Chinese soldier named Ling Feng who takes on special missions around the world. In the sequel, he finds himself in an African country protecting medical aid workers from local rebels and vicious arms dealers. Now, here's the thing about Wolf Warrior 2. I started reading about it. It is far and away, the highest grossing movie in China last year.
Really?
The big one, Nikki. So they say, it did not do well here in the United States. But it did really well. Let's see. It was the first film to gross more than $600 million at the Chinese box office last year. The fastest film to make $500 million. Again, this is all Chinese box office.
Sure.
So if you're like, well, what about the Avengers or something? No.
It's not that.
This is all in China. So again, it got a North American release. Didn't do all that well. But there's part of me that's like, yeah, but okay. Here's this movie. It's a foreign film. And, it takes a certain kind of clientele to really enjoy a foreign film. A kind of intelligentsia, if you will.
I'm watching the trailer as you talk, and I don't think you have to be like that. It doesn't look bad. It just doesn't look, you know.
Well, Nikki, I'm just telling you that I like foreign films.
Okay.
So I was thinking about perhaps digging into Wolf Warrior 2. I thought I'd see if maybe you'd heard of it.
Nope, I'm not. But, like sometimes movies have a different look to them, like just film-wise or how the transfer was done, just something.
Yeah.
This seems a little bit more like a Netflix movie. Like Bright. It looks a bit like just something, maybe.
Nikki, the fine
Like,
people
it's good, but
in the People's Republic of China don't appreciate some of what you're saying right now.
Hey, it made more money than we'll ever see in our whole lives. So
Now that's true. And, this is the other thing we need to think about is that was Wolf Warrior 2.
Where's one at?
What's up with Wolf Warrior?
Mm-hmm.
Is that also Lang Fang? Or is that a different guy? We don't know. And it's time to dig in. It was a $2.99 rental I saw available on Google Play. But I have another foreign film that I haven't watched yet.
Oh, you still never watched the one?
Which one?
The one that I also watched?
No, The Villainess?
Yeah, you never watched that?
No, I watched that. I rented another one. It's about a Japanese samurai who can't die.
Oh, now that right there.
It is a weird-looking movie, and I was like...
Yeah, why not?
It's 99 cents.
See, the more we say that, then we're racking up charges.
No?
And before you know it, someone's like, have you watched Wolf Warrior 2? And you're like, yeah, I have.
Well, see, my thing is I want to be more cultured coming into the new year, which is why I've been watching smaller independent projects like, Star Trek fan films on YouTube. That's an indie film. It is. And now I'm starting to branch over into Asian films, foreign films, The Villainess, that one samurai movie I don't know about, and Wolf Warrior 2.
You're at 3.
Yeah, so I'm really...
Between that and your movie pass, you're watching things left and right.
I'm broadening the base, Nikki. And so if, over the course of the year, I begin to seem more cultured, intelligent, just something about me is changing.
And more action star-esque.
Well, I don't always wear sunglasses inside, but I've started.
Well, I'll finish the trailer, and then we'll talk. Maybe we'll watch it.
Wolf Warrior 2. It was so good they made another one.
The Riot talks about wanting a day off, but when do we get a day off from them?
Whoa! You suck at this!
It's the worst of the Riot on Radio U.
Hey, Nikki, it's time for me to stereotype you. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Actually, I want you to stereotype yourself. According to this research, this is from the University of Sussex. They say that, basically, they say millennials, but when you dig in, it's people between the ages of 10 and 30, which is, I don't know,
pretty
whatever.
Big spread there, yeah.
They say that we can break you down into 4 different categories when it comes to who you are online. Mm-hmm. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
There's the geek. The geek is a person who is extremely cautious to avoid the pitfalls of sharing too much. Most likely to be a boy with an interest in gaming, making music, and creating videos.
There's one.
These individuals will spend time building a credible professional persona online with ambiguous names and no personal details. All right. 2, the lurker. Deliberately flying under the radar to avoid the risks of a more public online presence and audience, but may be an aspiring internet celebrity. Frequently comments, follows, likes, and shares on social media, but doesn't post a lot of their own stuff.
Oh, no, but I feel like that's the way a lot of Twitter has gone.
Yeah, it's a lot of people, very few people generating their own content.
Actual content.
They're just retweeting. Okay, the victim. Lacking in the knowledge to keep themselves safe, some people are often at risk of being persuaded or tricked into sharing intimate information.
No.
These people will often be seen sharing content with others, but are potentially unaware of who else might have access to the content. I know people like
your grandparents?
That. They're like, hey... They're like posting, hey, I left all the doors unlocked. Can somebody stop by? And
now, I'll be gone until 8, but I'm worried. Did I leave my door unlocked? Or they're like, I'll be leaving at 4 o'clock today for a 10-day vacation. And you're like actually spelling out specific details.
The oversharer, but they call them the victim. And then last but not least, the internet celebrity. Aspiring to become a successful YouTuber so they may never have to work in an office or a shop. You want to be a top producer of content that attracts the largest audience possible. They offer huge amounts of transparency into their lives, documenting all aspects of their daily life.
I don't feel like I'm necessarily any of those categories.
You are. Pick your poison. You must be.
I'm not the first one.
You're not the geek?
I don't like and follow and retweet a whole bunch, so I'm not the second one.
Okay.
I don't fall for anything, so I'm not the third one.
You're falling for it right now.
So by way of that, then I guess I'd have to be the fourth one, but I don't really agree with that one either. I'm just me.
You're kind of an internet celeb, posting pictures of your dogs and all the stuff you keep buying them. Here's me kicking my dog out in the snow, making him suffer. Here's me and all the food I ate at the whatever.
I will say I'm not someone who posts too many pictures, and so I try to think about before I post something. I want to make sure it's good enough.
You know, like people can't see your cigarettes in the background or stuff like that. You can make sure those pictures.
That's not it at all.
Hey, Eric, move the Marlboros out. Moving to the left.
That's
Thank
not my
you.
brand.
All right, it's Camel. Fine. Whatever.
No, that's not it at all.
Black and mild.
No.
So look,
Stop lying.
I would have said I was the geek, but I probably fall more in the internet celeb category.
You post more than that.
Because
So,
I
yeah,
do post a
think-
lot.
I'm
not trying to build my YouTube brand.
That's the part I don't understand. Like, we're not trying to make it a career. You just, you post. So I feel like we have to be the fourth category, but not exactly.
It makes me want to go off and share something.
You can go ahead and do that.
I'm going to go share something that I regret later. So everybody screen capture it.
That, or you're going to share something in hopes that it makes you into a celebrity.
Man, I'll tell you right now, if I could get internet famous and monetize it, I'm in. Let's do it. But it's probably not going to happen.
Well, make sure you follow us if you do not yet already. For Instagram, we're at Radio U Official.
Yep.
And from there, you can find Obie and I's accounts.
You sure can, and then you can be one of these four categories with us. You could be a lurker. Just retweet it.
That doesn't, well, no, see, we don't retweet and do that a whole lot.
I didn't say we were lurkers.
But
I said everybody else could be one.
You guys can just, see what's going on.
Lurk.
My favorite part of the worst of the riot, when they shut up and the music starts. It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
Have you guys given much thought to your funeral, Nikki?
No.
No?
But please, let's talk about it.
Well, I'll tell you this. Krause Funeral Home this is crazy. If you come by today...
They're having a sale?
Well, here's the deal. They're offering free pizza to come by, plan your funeral, and get some pizza.
I guess I want to wait till I'm older. I know they're like, well, you should never, because you don't want to leave people like to have to deal with it.
Right.
But I just don't want to do that.
You don't
now.
want to think about it?
I don't want to think about that.
Let's see.
And it depends on how good the pizza is. I feel like it's a trap.
See, the only thing is, like, when I think about my funeral, I think about planning a party that I don't really get to go to, and then it's like, well, that's no fun at all. Can we have the party
you're
now?
There.
Not really.
Kind of. You
Not
can't
really.
see it.
So then you have to start thinking like, well, what's the party everybody else wants to have? And so then you have to be respectful of their feelings. And you don't even know if they're going to follow through on it. You're like...
Oh, like if you planned everything, would they just ignore it?
You're like, no, here's what I want for my funeral. Has anybody ever seen that one Demon Hunter video where Ryan Clark walks down the aisle and opens up the casket?
It's like that church from like Kill Bill or something where
and all the wind starts blowing on all the people in the thing. That's what I want.
Now, that's a lot.
We are the ones. Dun, dun,
That's
dun,
a
dun,
lot to
dun, dun, dun.
ask the family to prepare.
I'm telling you right now that for the right amount of money, I'll bet you guys could fly Ryan Clark out to my funeral, and I just want him to walk down the aisle. I also want his steps to echo like they do in the video.
I'm writing all this down, so
you?
I didn't know these were things that you wanted.
Well, we're recording the show, so it's fine.
So may this be a legal record
all right,
of what we want.
Take a look at the life insurance policy. Make sure there's travel.
None.
Okay, well, whatever. Like, we'll get some. And make sure that there's travel and accommodations. The lawyer's like, why is this their travel? Who's Ryan Clark? Does anybody know who Ryan Clark is?
Why am I got to get him from the airport?
Well, you know what? You have to get him ready. The other guys in Demon Hunter can come, but I'm not paying their way.
Sure.
Just for
we
Ryan.
Celebrate your life in whatever way you want.
Yeah. And I feel like maybe we'll put like a Google Home up so that it's just playing the podcast.
I feel like this funeral got the idea from like, what is it, Planet Fitness, where they do the pizza parties.
You're right.
Because you think we're stupid enough to fall for pizza, which we do. In any way. You're like, well, you want us to like move into this apartment? Oh, there's pizza. Okay. Or
okay. I do love that because...
You want us to work out? Oh, there's pizza. Okay.
Pizza. It reminds me, I had a friend that needed help moving. He's like, yeah, I'll buy everybody pizza. And I just put my hand on his shoulder and looked at him. I was like, bro, I can buy my own pizza.
It's not enough.
Like, that's not doing it. I'll help you move, but like I don't want to take a break for the pizza. I want to show up. I want to get it done. Let's do this.
I want gourmet pizza. I don't want this to be
looks like
the
DiGiorno.
cheapest.
I'm not going to lie to you.
Well, then surely it must be delivery. That's what it looks like.
So
Easy there. Yeah, well, you take care of yourself. Take care of yourself.
Oh, gosh. They interviewed a couple that signed up to go, and they said, hey, we're locking in this price right now. Prices could go up. So they're locking in.
I'll just wait.
Okay.
It also feels like, when they want you to go look like a vacation, a timeshare, something like that, where you think you're going to win something.
Do they have free pizza at the timeshare, though?
Probably.
They're being upfront with you about this. Like, so, all right, whatever.
I don't have, like people nowadays, we don't have enough money to go to the dentist, so I don't think we need to spend our money, like, for the funeral. Like, we need to prepay.
You're not feeling
Unless because we're not taking care of ourselves, because we're not putting our money to that.
Well, you know what? I've decided to turn over a new leaf, and this year I'm going to Planet Fitness for free pizza instead of the funeral home for free pizza.
Go there.
Of course, the flip side to that is you go to Planet Fitness to sign up, you're never going there. You go to the funeral home, at least one time you're eventually going to make it.
Only go on pizza time.
Okay.
So if that's a particular day of the week, which I think it is.
At Planet Fitness?
Yeah. So you only go that day when there's pizza.
The other days there's cookies.
I had like a pass for a little bit, and they always had candy around. You're like, what is this?
Well, they want to.
But you're like, ooh, candy.
I want to go get some candy.
Then you're too full to work out.
The Riot's motto, Carpe Cupcake. Those are words to live by. Radio U.
Nikki, I'm looking at a list of everything that's coming to Netflix in February.
Yeah. What do we got?
Men in Black.
Oh.
That 1997 hit starring Will Smith.
Sure, that's a deal from the Bright stuff.
It feels like it, right? All of the American Pie films and their spinoff.
Just give me something else. Is there anything?
About 3,000 Miles to Graceland.
Don't recall that one.
It's about Elvis impersonators.
Stop. No more. Nope.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
I don't know what I'm looking for, but it's not any of those.
How about Oceans 11, 12, and 13?
Oh, that's just because they're like, please, we be interested in the new one.
Oceans 8,
Do you remember
guys?
any of these things? We will watch them now.
Oceans 8, guys. Well, what about this Friday, February 2nd, Altered Carbon?
What's that?
That's the Netflix original series. Which everyone says it just looks like Blade Runner.
Yes. Okay. I saw the trailer for that.
Okay.
Maybe.
Let's see.
Possibly.
Kevin J. and Fred Armisen each have Netflix stand-up specials. Here's the problem is a lot of this stuff, it's just completely, like, I can give you the names, but I don't know what they are.
Sure.
So, like, there's some more from the David Letterman thing, his George Clooney interview. Have you watched his interview with...
I never liked David Letterman.
Oh, so, like, you're not going to watch...
I also don't like George Clooney, so... I don't know.
What's wrong with you?
I told you. I
Nikki,
never
you could
liked
watch.
George Clooney.
Wait, stop. You could watch Oceans 11, 12, 13 and follow it up with this interview. That would be.
This is why sometimes when you look at the big picture about how things come out, like you don't realize you're being pushed something, and you don't know that. Like I feel like I'm being pushed Oceans, all the stuff, and George Clooney in hopes that I will go see the new one.
That's exactly right.
And I hate that.
Packaging.
Yeah, it's packaging.
Vertical integration.
And you're like, well, sure, we got movies out.
I don't know what this show is, but it sounds like we'll like it. It's called Everything Sucks. That's
I'll look that
That's a
one up.
Netflix original series. DreamWorks Dragons Race to the Edge. That's its 6th season, Nikki. You could watch The Dragon Show. Joel McHale from Community.
I
that
remember
guy?
him.
He's getting a show called The Joel McHale Show.
Great.
Which everyone says will be like The Soup, but won't be The Soup. So we'll see if that's true. And there is, oh my gosh, I mean, what are there, 10, 15, 20 Netflix original series that are going to be firing up in February. So
nothing else? Again, I don't know what I'm looking for, but...
Well,
nothing you told me.
Jeepers Creepers 3.
No, fine. I'll read the list later.
Oh my gosh, Lincoln.
Is that the
Lincoln?
Is that the movie?
The movie.
No. Oh my gosh, Lincoln.
But it should be. I would watch that one.
It's a different take on it.
No. It's just called Lincoln.
Lincoln's back from the past. It's an oh my gosh 1 and 2.
Do you remember that summer that there was Lincoln? And then there was
Abraham
Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
We saw that one.
Yeah, I know.
Was there a real one?
This is the real one.
Oh.
It's a Steven Spielberg movie. With
we went with the other one.
We went with the other one. Yeah,
Mostly
that's
because
right.
that came out during like a heat wave, and I remember we didn't want to work anymore because it was so hot at the Radio U building. Because I think we lost, we had no AC.
Was that when we didn't have the AC?
And we were just like, fine, we're going to go see Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Yes, we did.
And we passed on the other one.
Yeah, but this is your chance. You don't even have to go to the movies. Lincoln comes home to you.
I'll probably pass on it.
All right, well, I've done my best. All right, what about...
more.
What about Wolf Warrior 2? Now you have to pay extra for that.
I'll keep looking and see if I come across something maybe you missed.
Oh, man.
Leftovers from the most disgusting meal you've ever had. It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
Nikki, do you have any personal records?
Personal records?
That you're hanging on to, like a world record that you set a couple years ago or anything like that?
Not that I know of. Hey, you and I were pretty close for like morning shows. Outside of like work and personally, I'm not sure though.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you a record. Dinky's got his longest running morning show host on the Radio U network. She's got 2 years more than I do.
I do.
Like she was with the other guy for 2 whole years. He said his goal was make it to a year, and he
made it to 2.
He made it to 2, or like close to 2. So that was something. Here's a guy that's had a long running record. His name's Todd Rogers, and since 1982, he has had the top score, but it's like top score, lowest score in the Atari 2600 racing game Dragster.
Never heard of it.
Me either. But his score, he claims, is 5.51 seconds. And it has stood for, what are we on now, 36 years this guy has had this record. There's a company called Twin Galaxies. Twin Galaxies is kind of like the Guinness World Record, but for video games. Mm-hmm. They keep track of high scores, speed runs, all this kind of stuff. Well, there has been... and this, oh man, okay. There's been a group of people that have been trying to take down
this
record because in addition to it being this thing at Twin Galaxies, it is, according to the Guinness Book of World Records, it is the longest held video game record in the world. So this guy has had it for 36 years, and there's not a single video game record that has lasted longer than this record
So
has.
People are kind of gunning for it.
People are gunning for this record, and they want to take it down. And so people have been saying for a while, there's no way. Like, there's absolutely no way this can be done in 5.51 seconds. It's a lie. There's no way it's true. So one of the things they have done is they have set up Atari emulators so that the computer would make a perfect run. The absolute best perfect run they can make.
So if the computer makes a perfect run and it's still not at the record, so they think the guy somehow
they think it's a lie.
Lied with the record?
Yes. So the computer can't do it any faster than 5.57 seconds. And his record claims to be 5.51 seconds. And so this week, after apparently, and who does this, but somebody made a very impassioned presentation to the Twin Galaxies people, which, again, like, is this a courtroom? Like, where do you go to even do this?
Some people are taking it as their personal thing.
But Twin Galaxies has removed
the record?
His record from the roster.
You know, when you're telling me this, you remember the podcast, like the Serial podcast and the stuff where it's like you take a murder or a case and then it breaks it apart? Mm-hmm. I feel like this is almost qualifying for like a video game version of it, to like learn the history of this record, and now everybody's trying to take it down and now it's been removed.
This is Bill.
Yeah.
Bill claims to have been in the house the day this record was set with the Atari 2600.
And you learn about the lies and all that.
Don't know the answer to that, but I do know that Guinness has not commented. Also, the guy has not commented. So
the guy's still alive who had the record?
Oh, yeah. Kotaku reached out to him, and he has declined commenting.
He never probably thought, if he did lie, that it would get this big, or 30-something years later, it'd come back to haunt him.
What is he? I don't know this, but I'm speculating. He's 16. He fudges a number. The next thing you know, 30 years later,
they're still trying to figure it out if he lied or not, and he's living with it.
He's just like, shut up! Why are you guys doing this?
Just leave the game alone.
You're ruining my life!
The worst of the riot has no expiration date. It's born spoiled. It's the Riot on Radio U.
Nikki, you have a problem.
With what?
Maybe. Might not be you. I have a problem. Maybe. Might not be me. 5% of us do, though. 5%!
Such a small percentage of people.
Oh, so then I guess their problems don't matter.
I'm just, in case it is something I have that makes you feel better, like, oh, it's not a lot of us.
Oh, well,
it's not a big issue.
Well, think about this. Everybody else was like down with the 1%, and I kept thinking, like, how do I get to beat the 1%?
Now I want to be the 5%.
How do we
or
do
maybe
that?
Not, depending on what this is.
Well, Nikki, I'm reading up here an article by a psychologist talking about how, are you ready for this? Compulsive shopping. He says that nobody talks about it, but it's a problem in the United States. And about 5% of the population suffer from compulsive shopping. Compulsive shopping means that you buy things to relieve stress, gain social approval.
No, that's food. That's what everybody is.
Or improve self-image.
Sure.
No, see, like, I don't
think we fall into that category.
Food doesn't do any of those things for me. Like, I mean, it might relieve stress, I guess, because like nothing makes me feel like, quite as good as, a great piece of cake.
Nice thing of like Chinese food or an egg roll.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and you're just like, yes, things are better.
Are they? Are they? Well,
maybe people feel that way when shopping for clothes.
They say, well, not just clothes, just anything. Like compulsive shopping, just buying stuff.
I don't think so, but I feel like with us, the harder thing with our generation is just that we don't wait for anything. So if I want something, I might wait 2 days for it to get to me, but I'll immediately just buy it.
Wait, is this about the Nintendo Switch?
No, this is just about Amazon. Our way of shopping.
Okay.
Like, oh, you know what? I could really use blank. And you're like, well, okay, I'll just hop on the app. Whereas back in the day, probably with our parents, you had to go to the store. You had to look at it. You could have time to decide and talk yourself out of it.
Sure.
Where now I'm like, well, just buy it. It's
right
there.
It's done.
It's easy.
Okay. Well, it's
too easy.
I don't think we necessarily have this, but I think it's out there.
Sure.
I have met someone who does. I've been to their house. Compulsive shopping at some point usually looks like hoarding.
I was going to say, does this kind of work in that way? It kind of turns into
hoarding, yeah. I mean, I helped somebody. They bought, this absolutely happened. They bought a TV and called me at like 9:00 on a Friday night. Could you help me go get this TV and load it up and whatever? So I did. I put it in their garage and it never left the garage.
They just buy to buy.
They just bought that. They just bought that TV. Didn't carry it into the house. Didn't watch it. Didn't whatever. It just sat in the garage for at least more than a year until eventually they moved out, and they moved it out still in the box.
And that's usually people who don't have the money to be doing that.
I don't know, man. I don't know the answer to that, but I do know this. I know that 5% of us are doing that. And I started thinking, like, since I don't have a problem with compulsive shopping, it's probably okay for me to buy some stuff today.
Well, it's not like you have to, but if you want to, that's fine.
It's not. I'm not trying to gain blah, 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 whatever, but I could just go ahead.
I think we're clear of this one.
Though I will tell you, and the point of this guy's article is basically, hey, if you find yourself in this position where, you basically seem to, A, not be able to stop, or B, you begin to realizing that it's a coping mechanism for you, that it's a good idea to seek professional help and don't be afraid to say, like, hey, I'm a compulsive shopper. I need some help.
Even if you're younger, you have to be vocal about it earlier, because then you don't want it to just keep growing and growing and growing. And then you've got all this stuff and you don't know what to do with it. And then you got a really big mess.
And I mean, I think I would go ahead and throw out, if you have anything you're dealing with that is a compulsive behavior, like, again,
the list is long of what could be.
There's a lot of different things. Don't be afraid to reach out and get some help for it. Seriously. And you might think, like, well, I should be strong. Just stop. It's nonsense. Real strength is being willing to say, I can't and I need help. That takes some real strength, because that means you're laying down your pride and you're being honest about where you are. I don't know very many people that are willing to do that. So be that guy or girl or whatever. Just be that.
The Riots turn it down and rip the knob off. Radio U.
So who's getting excited about the State of the Union address tonight? Woo! Come on! Yeah! Yes!
Now, to be fair, we have never been excited, no matter who is the current president, about any State of the Union address.
You know, George Washington gave his first annual message to Congress January 8th, 1790.
He didn't have television then, so.
No, he didn't. Did you know that George Washington actually has the record for the shortest State of the Union address?
What was the time?
833 words, about 10 minutes.
See how nice that is? Why can't we go back to that?
Do you want to know who has the longest speech? Take a guess. It is a fairly modern president.
Ronald Reagan.
Bill Clinton.
Bill Clinton.
President Bill Clinton in his 2000 address ran 1 hour, 28 minutes, and 49 seconds.
Really?
That is the longest State of the Union.
Terrible.
It's crazy.
It's just hard to watch, depending on, if, for us, we're not really one side or the other. And so when you watch, it's like watching your parents act petty and fight with each other, and you'll get this side will sit down and act grumpy, or this side will do that. And it's just very embarrassing to watch some of it.
If I could enjoy it more, I would love to, because what Nikki said is correct. Whoever the opposition team is.
Yeah, a lot of eye rolling.
They'll roll their eyes. They'll do all this stuff. Just for the briefest of moments, it feels like British Parliament. But British Parliament's way cooler.
That was awesome.
If it was British Parliament, they'd be screaming during the State of the Union.
I feel like we have to go that way. Either go all in and start screaming, or just be grown-ups about it and sit and, for the better of the country, go through it and then discuss it afterwards.
The other thing I want to add, though, is I appreciate laughing at the opposition team as they make their grumpy faces, but do the pro team, do they have to applaud after every sentence?
That's why it's so long.
Do we have to clap at every sentence?
They're trying to cover all the other stuff.
I don't think we do. I think we could go ahead and take a break.
I think it's like what we wanted to do here, but we've not yet implemented, is if you have a meeting, or even if you're in a discussion with a professor or something, everybody should stand.
Everybody has to stand.
Because when you're sitting down, suddenly the person giving the meeting, it can go for an hour or two, and you're stuck. If everybody's standing, you get tired and it moves faster.
Oh, yeah.
They keep it shorter because they don't want to stand anymore.
Think about this. If somebody said to you, as soon as we're done, we can sit down, people would be like, all right,
we're done.
Enough nonsense. We're getting this over with.
Stop clapping and eye rolling.
Stop it. Stop it.
So what we'll do is we tomorrow usually just go through an overview of it and then get some ideas from it.
The other thing is, you'll find these on YouTube not long after it airs, is someone will go through and edit out all the clapping and all the whatevers, and it'll be a
just
straight
a
speech, and it takes way less time to go through the speech that way. So there are a lot of people, people have various feelings about the sitting president, as they always do.
That's nothing new.
But somebody's running a stream where they're going to be highlighting all of the donors to the president's presidential campaign. So that way you'll know at any moment during his speech who it is that he's actually speaking for. So, hey, you know what I say? I love the idea that somebody had, and I've heard this a million times, but you force members of Congress, all politicians, to basically wear NASCAR jumpsuits that have little patches for all of the special interest groups that have contributed to their campaign. So that way you just know right up front who their sponsors are.
And then you'll just, it'll give you an insight to it.
Nothing wrong with that. Let's see those sponsors.
I really don't like politics.
Oh, I don't either.
But that's a sad thing, because we should be more involved. Everybody should. But I feel like everybody younger than those currently in politics right now, it kind of really turns you off from it.
It is the classic case, as you've heard before, in this country, the dog does not wag the tail wags the dog.
There's something there.
That's a great movie, too.
Thanks for listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Oh no! I missed it! Do it again!
You can hear us live every day on the Radio U network, through the Radio U app, or at riot.radiou.com.
Shut up! Why are you guys doing this?